Hi everyone, I'm back as you can see, and it's the afternoon, so I'm going to continue on where we were this morning. And as the name of the title suggests, this is a Pokemon drawing but inspired by mushrooms, after I heard a lot of talk about picking the right mushroom on a radio channel this morning. So it's following on for a previous drawing, just to give you a recap. So this is the previous drawing, and it's a little Swinub in the mushrooms, having a lovely time as they do. This drawing I'm going to go back to and rework a little bit of the detail, the colour, and just clean it up a bit. It's still a little bit rough. And that was done on Strathmore tanned tone paper. And I recently got some Clairefontaine paper, which is slightly different, much thicker, much thicker paper. And so I'm just doing this little drawing. And so far these are just the base layers. I'm able to get a lot more layers on this paper than I could with the other paper, which is absolutely great. And that's what we're going to be doing. So if you've got any questions, normal rules, feel free to ask, and I'll see what I can do about answering them. I will be checking the computer only now and then because my computer's kind of miles away. So apologies if I don't see you or spot any comments, but I will do my best, alright? So pencils that I'm using are the Prismacolors and the Polychromos. And on we go. I'm not going to mention the names of the pencils because it's up to you guys to interpret your colours. We all see colour different. So there's no point in me telling you what colours I use because you will see different colours that you want to use. So I'm just sharpening up a couple of pencils. I have a teeny weeny little waste paper basket thing. And in fact I'm going to rotate this drawing. Handy hint, if you're wanting to keep your eyes fresh on a drawing, turn it upside down. And then when you look at it, you will spot mistakes and problems that you've made earlier on. And I'm just doing very light layers of colour. And yeah, I do have coursework to do, but I needed a mental break from doing coursework. I've got another 2 big pieces to do, but sometimes you need a break from coursework and just to let your brain and body relax a bit. And this is how I do it. I'm still waiting to hear the dates for the Comic Con that's coming to Dorset. Really hoping to get a table. And I'm hoping to have some other bits made that I can sell at it. It's the first time trying for a Comic Con, so it's all a bit kind of ooh. I'll probably actually have to say to the organisers kind of what the dickens do you do, because I ain't got a clue. A lot of my Prismacolor pencils, they're really old and they are breaking. I'm going to have this a lot with a few of these. The wood is quite literally just completely shattered. Yeah. So if I can get anything out of them, it'll be better than nothing. And if you saw this morning's drawing, you will notice there's been a slight change again. I did put a little tongue sticking out of the Swinub. I've taken it away. It looked like big puffy lips. It looked wrong, so I've removed that. And to do that, taking out colour pencil, that was using the Tombow Mono eraser and a putty rubber. And I've still got a couple of layers to sort out on that bit. Still not sure if I'm going to put an outline on this one, in all honesty. Part of me wants to, and part of me doesn't. Oranges. Don't really have that many oranges. Oh, this is a crunchy one. I can't believe it, even like 20-30 years ago, Prismacolors, the wood of them was just diabolical. That's why I'm not replacing mine at all. I've just noticed I've got line coming through there, that shouldn't be there. Yeah. Oh, still cool. The colours on these little characters and creatures are not going to be 100% matches to the original designs. This is almost like my own interpretation. Also going to make quite a lot of changes to the background. What's that line showing so strongly? I think. Bear with me 2 seconds. Funny message, error message coming up on the computer, just keeping an eye on that. Need to lighten up and make this colour slightly more pinky, so I'm going to use a very light pink. So slightly. I'm going to add in a couple of the bits of the foreground that I've decided to do. And these are going to match more with the mushrooms on there. Just so there's some continuity in the image. That's a good pencil. What I might do is get my Posco white marker to do certain bits. Prismacolor definitely do go down really well for getting down like a layer. Very quick and easy. Though the pencils themselves just aren't at all very good quality. So I can transfer my hand. Can't wait to do that one until that one's done. Can't do that one until that's done. So while I'm having to think about what next lot of colours I'm going to add to that one, I'm going to move on to a couple of the little bits in the background. So she's suddenly changing her mind. Sometimes I have to re-look at something to realise where I've made a mistake. Feels a bit better. Right, okay, next part is go from here. So I need a lilac-y blue colour. Well, that one that I used too much of. Yep, those should match. Sharpen those up. Sharp pencil is a good pencil. So when I break constantly. I can feel this one's got issues. I'm trying to get this a little bit sharper, it's way too blunt. thing is I want a smooth look, but I want it to not be too smooth or too grainy. I can change a few of these colours to a degree. Actually, I want this one to be more creamy. More sharpening. So I'm putting down like a base layer of cream here, and then I can pick out little highlights with white if I want to. Go grey. And I need a little bit of shadow in here, so I'm going to use that same grey to create a shadow. And even though this is going to look quite harsh, by the time I come over with another layer, it should soften it enough. The extra nice thing about the luminants, they are just so creamy. Find that green that I used earlier. and then I can just soften that down again. I need this blue. And there goes the nib, before I can feel that going. So what I'm doing is I'm using a light blue over the purple just to soften that up and give me the colour that I'm actually after. Hopefully if I use a salmony pink over this one, that's better, yeah. And then I can lighten this one off again. I should get the tone that I'm after for that little guy. Or girl. Or thing. So I'm going to pick up that mushroom that's in the background, not literally. Just want to get that colour mapped in. And there's going to be leaves around here as well. So I'm just almost putting in where I want the main characters to be. I'm trying to get right to the edge of the paper. Still too blunt. Anything with having blunt pencils is you can't get that nice sharp crisp line, and that can really make a difference in the drawing. So I may end up going over with just a very thin marker around some of the edges, because due to the Prismacolors I've not got the sharp lines that I really want in certain areas. I mean, I can go over with the Faber-Castells, but it's not the same. So for the whites, I've got a Polychroma white, and I've got Luminance white, and I've also got a Derwent Chinese white as well, which is quite a good pencil, to say the least. Now I'm going to hit a problem here because I've got red lines. I'm just going to take them out, put them back in, put glue on there. That might end up being a bit of a problem. Glue on paper tends to affect what you can put over it, so you just have to be mindful of any glue. I may have to just take like a millimetre or two off of this edge. I don't mind if there's a little bit of colour in these pieces, because it's going to be almost like a reflective colour from the actual mushroom themselves. But I'm carrying through the same colour combinations of shadow and things like that, just to make sure that there are some things that go through all the drawing. Honest. Just take a step back. Yeah, feeling a bit happy with this one. I was a little bit dubious at the beginning as to if the idea was going to work. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit happier. So I can put in, if I get this other character done, then that will give me a better idea of where I'm going. When the drawing's in bits, or lots of pieces are complete-ish, but nothing's really complete, it does make it a drawing not feel right. And it's only when you start to suddenly have one piece completed and done that you think to yourself, yeah, I'm happy with that, and go for it from there. In my case, I haven't quite got to that point. I'm still layering. So she madly grabbed my ruler. This next one was one that I messed up a little bit. And that was my stomach. Right. I messed this piece up because I put an arm where I shouldn't have put an arm. I need to pull that bit right out. That's going to be tricky. Well, we'll have a little play with that later. Now this colour, I don't think I've got anything lighter, have I? It's a grey, blue. Actually that one. Did a lie. I think I found something a bit better. Broken, as expected with Prismacolor, but we're getting there. Yeah, that's more like the colour I'm after. So this is going to be like the first layer. And I need that kind of pinky colour for that one. For this one I'm simplifying the shapes slightly. I mean this little critter must have been an absolute nightmare for the animating teams to do. And it's purple. We'll start with this purple first. rotate again. And just try and find Prismacolor, not Prisma, Faber-Castell. And back to the Prismas. I'm just going to blend in a lot of those little colours that I've just put down. That's that green. Need that a little bit sharper though. It's gone. And in with the white. It's got like that pinky colour back here, so I can leave a hint of that just there. Put those little eyeballs in. Should just need to rework. Surprised this one isn't like a ghost Pokemon. The eyes just look really haunting. Got empty sockets. And there's a mushroom between the two. Quick change there. Just bringing that white just so that I've got colours that are going to work and make sure that the characters stand forward from the background slightly. Let's try a different colour with this one. And just take a step back. Yeah, I'm more inclined to go for outlining on this one. I'm feeling happier with how it's going. So that's some more of the characters done. So next on to the one that I'm going to struggle with. Bear with me 2 seconds, I need a cup of tea. And it's a seriously big cup. Right, so the one in this corner is going to be a little bit harder because of the angle. So, I need to find it first. There it is. It's got 2 little mushrooms on the back. The colours are different, slightly more yellowy orange, which is good because that means I've got more, I can move the colours throughout. I still need to put green leaves in. How's it bear with me? Right, you guys fall off the shelf. Everything's a little bit delicate. I've got these Faber-Castell Pitt pens. Now, I'm just going to see what happens when I use one on these, because it's a lot of wax on the paper. In theory, they won't stick. So if we use it extra small. That's also why I've not got my graphic Derwent pens or the Micron ones, because if I get too much wax on the fibre tips, it's going to clog up and not work. So I'm just going to try. And see what happens. yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna have to do outlines. And that just hit the floor. Nah. Yep, I'm happy with the outline. I don't know why, it just feels right. So I'm just gonna quickly add a little bit more white to the eyes. Wrong side. The thing about these pens is that they take a bit longer to dry. So I've just got to make sure that I'm not getting any trace. Get some waxy build up on there. And then needs that tiny little bit of yellow glow. I don't know what the light in here is like today. It looks yellowish, moderate. I've got yellow light above, white light over there, white light over here. So it's very enlightening. Let's just add in that glow. Right, so this slightly more tricky one. We'll start with the prismas. I say slightly more tricky because this one's got more gradients to it than the others have. Also got a really funny little nose. That's a fool. What happens to his nose? He loses his nose. Oh, and his mouth. This colour around. Yeah, I'm going to do this smaller one at a slight different colour just to distinguish between the two. It's looking a bit goofy right now. Well, hopefully should be able to turn this around. I don't know if it's that blue. So the blue that I used on the little mushrooms over there, I'm going to use on the little crabby over here. That's a fun. I forgot to use my luminance shell. That's a really good pencil. So let's change these little mushrooms. By putting down that slightly darker underlay, it's just going to add a little bit of colour and texture in there. And then I can come through with the polychrome and sharpen up the edges. Because this Prismacolor, this poppy red, is just so rich and creamy. It's near impossible to get a sharp edge with it. But it's great for putting down layers of colour. Jesus, luminance. Rotate. can carry that colour across now into the main one. And let's see, what else have I got hidden back here? A couple of pencils have fallen off the edge, so it's also ones that you actually want always fall off the edge. Give me a slightly different underlay. I do find one of these colours in the polychromo. Oh, no, I suppose that shouldn't be in there. Oh, no, not quite. That one might do it. These ones might do it. Just want to sharpen up a couple of areas. Sharpen that up. If you do feel your pencil break or a bit chip off, get it off of your paper really quickly, otherwise you're going to end up with colour spots everywhere, and that's a nightmare to clean up. %90 of the time I'm using colour pencils, I'm actually sharpening the pencils. Just want to bring in a little bit more contrast. I'll just build up a couple of layers. And then add in that little bit of grey into the little mushrooms, just to add in some shadow and detail. So then I'm going to try and do the outline around the big shell, even though I've not finished technically colouring it, but we're still just going to try and bring the shadow in and the outline in. I think though, I can feel it's starting to resist. I just need some scrap paper to clean it on. I think I'm going to have to go for the next size up nib, which I don't really want to do. So I'm going to try and keep right to the edges. Hopefully this should be the final layer on this bit. Let's see. So the closer I get to my final layers, the neater and sharper I make sure that everything is. So I work in much smaller areas. Yeah, this has taken a long time to do, but I want to get it right. Try not to push too hard either, because I want a decent even pressure. And I still want enough tooth of the paper there, so if I want to add another layer I can. And hopefully you can see that smoothing, that's starting to get a lot smoother now. Just want to add a bit more texture to this side and a little bit more contrast. And the colour that I've got here is one that's part of the red family, but is a bit more brown. So it works really nicely for shadows in reds. I could use a blue, and I may yet bring a blue in. We'll just see how it goes. Soften out that line. And that's looking much smoother and how I kind of want the whole image to come up. So you've got almost the completed colour areas against the first layers going down. So I'm going to add in another bit of a mushroom using a slightly different red. Just make sure there's a nice amount of varying colours. With some coloured pencils you can do dark layers first and light layers, and others you can do light layers and then dark layers, but it's all up to you and what you prefer to do. In a sense, I'm glad I don't use a computer for my artwork. I did try, it's really messed up my eyes, so hand drawing is the only way for me. Are we on time? Yeah, cool. I'm probably not going to be able to hang around too long tonight because I'm on a longish shift tomorrow, and then I have a 12-hour shift and then another 12-hour shift. So this is kind of my relaxation before that. Got a lump under the paper. Bring that in slightly. Let's be a bit sharper. Try that Chinese, don't want Chinese white. Just find a pencil shot and it works. See what happens when I add this. as powerful as I thought it was going to be. Mind you, one of my next proper drawings, I mean like a pet portrait kind of drawing, I'm working on 5 images right now, all of them varying complexity, and there's one that I really want to do, because I think my logo looks rubbish right now. Well, it's not the Holly Fox design, it's just I can see a better way of doing a logo for my namesake than what I already have. The problem is it is going to take a little while to do, but I'm sure once I do it, it'll look good, and then I can get my printer chappy to do it and it'll look wonderful. But that's in a few months' time, probably, the way things are going right now. Right, I need some greenies. Just want to add in a couple of little green leaves. So you can see how the image is starting to pull together and the whole concept is coming together, hopefully. Just make sure I don't step on that. There's a couple of colours that I definitely need to change. A couple of areas that I definitely need to put a lot more work into. But for the first layers, we're talking kind of just getting these colours down. I'm certainly very happy with this Clairefontaine paper. It's really nice quality. Can't fault it at all. How's that looking on the computer screen? That's not looking bad on the screen. I always do check my screen against what I can physically see. Once I start turning off all the lights in here, it will look completely different. So if you've got a mobile phone and you're doing a drawing like this, take a photo with your phone and then have a look at it under that screen, because you'll see such a difference. It's not always the best difference, but you'll see a difference. Try this colour. I think I'm going to have to go to the medium pen now. Just a slight annoyance. But hey ho, you can't win them all. I don't want, the one pen I don't want to have to use is a Sharpie. It's just, they're a bit too chunky and I can see that going wrong. Starting to cover the paper and get a layer, another layer here. What we'll do is I'm going to bring in, we're going to bring in a slightly darker grey to just put in those stripes. And then when I go over them again with the brown, that should soften them right up. I'm bringing a slightly different brown. I'm doing a mix of browns. Now the reason I'm doing a mix of browns is because if this little pig hedgehog, pig, is going to be snuffling around in the dirt and the ground, he's going to be getting mud stains and other things attached, so I want to add a little bit of that into it. I'm actually starting to see transfer happening on the paper. So my fingers are getting a little bit covered and I've just got to make sure that that doesn't get too out of control. So I might have to put a piece of paper underneath my hands. More sandy colour. Might do it. Yeah, that worked. I do need to go shopping for Faber-Castell pens. Sauce. I'm getting low on several of the colours. They are quite expensive open stock, but they're quite expensive tinned as well. I mean, I do use nearly every single colour. So, I have to think about that. I'm just adding in little bits of detail just to give the character a little bit more life to it. Dust off my hands. And back onto this little mushroom. In fact, what I will do is I'm going to add a little leaf, a green leaf here, and that's going to help break the colours up a bit. And there's a green one here. I'm just sticking in a couple of coloured areas where I definitely know what colours I want. And just adding in a couple of little highlights. Just give the character a little bit more life to them. But I will do things at random stages. It says I remember them. I'll stick them in. Did on time. Oh, over an hour. Would you believe it? Time flies when you're having fun. The thing is, if you don't want to be drawing for an hour, don't draw for an hour. Do 20 minutes. Take a tea break. Then come back to it 20 minutes later. By taking those breaks, you can physically see a difference in what you're doing. So your eyes aren't getting tired and you're not getting bored or depressed, fed up and negative about what you're doing. So each time you waddle off and waddle back, you'll come back with a fresh set of eyes. Not literally, I don't want anyone stealing eyeballs. You'll come back and look at it afresh and you'll suddenly spot things that you want to change, that you want to edit, and it does do your brain a lot of good. Oh, and stay hydrated. This is a very, very, very important thing. Always stay hydrated. A happy artist is a good artist. I mean, negative emotions can be used to create good art. There's no doubt about that. But you shouldn't allow your emotions to consume you. So I'm probably going to have to quit soon and go off for some Z's. Oh, and if you've got a chair, have a chair. Me, I don't have a chair, so I stand. It's not great for my posture, but I do posture exercises through the day. I'm stood up for 9 to 12 hours during the day. I kind of end up giving it as like, I've been stood up this long, I'm standing up the rest of the time. try and get this mushroom done at least. Now, I hope this is helping inspire you to have a look at different things and pull up some new ideas. I mean, when you're in the car or even as a passenger or a driver, and say you've got the radio on or you're playing a piece of music and you hear something that you like or you find funny and you find quite amusing, can visualise something to do with that subject, then have a go at turning it into a bit of art. And if you've got some favourite characters or fan art and things like that, how can you incorporate that? I meant to get this fully finished. I think it's going to take probably another 2-3 hours. Now, because I've got some long shifts coming up, I'll probably be taking this to work with me in all honesty. And I can do the inking at work. I get a couple of half-hour breaks if I'm lucky. So I can do the inking and figure out how to sort that mess out. So a green leaf just back there. I'm just trying to stick in a couple of blocks of colours where I know I can make changes. I've got a mushroom here, so I need a green leaf there. I think I need one up here. I can change the leaf shapes at any time. Yeah, and I'm starting to get covered a bit in stuff. Also dehydrating. So that's how far we got so far. Check. Yep. So it's not finished, not by a long shot. There's a lot of work to do, a lot of layers, and I am going to definitely ink it. I just feel the outline keeps the edges crisp. So then it'll, once I've reworked the original, the kind of first scenario, that should hopefully tie in and match. So the boldness and the brightness of the colours here, I want to make sure I'm replicating all the way through in this one. But yeah, I hope this has given you some inspiration, some ideas, and gets you out there getting a pen and a pencil and getting some paper and having some fun. So till next time, all the best everyone, and happy drawing to you all. And I'll see you hopefully next time, because I do like you guys coming along for the ride.